All right, today's guest is an actor, musician, and singer-songwriter from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's best known for his EP, Work Hard, Rock Hard, that features Phil X and Geoff Tate. Here to talk with us about his latest single, Silent Lucidity, featuring Geoff Tate, let's welcome Kurt Deimer. Kurt, how are you, man?
Good, man. Peace to everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad we get this figured out, man. So let's talk about the latest track here, man. I've been a Queensryche fan since day one. Obviously, as many people have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
just
Great
the voice of Geoff Tate just sent chills down my spine from the beginning. So tell us about covering this track. One of my favorites from them, definitely.
Well, anytime you do a cover of another band's amazing music, it's got you want to pick your covers carefully. It's got to have your own meaning to it. Just like music, any kind of song has meaning to the individual partaking of the music, and we can all interpret things the way we want. I know it's about a dream, but for me, back in 2020, when we were all in that phase, I had just got off a little run trying to figure out if I even wanted to get back into music, if I wanted to tour, if I loved it or didn't love it. And I was discovered at that point by Chris Lord-Alge earlier that year. And I had just, our first song we did together was a cover of Pink Floyd, Have a Cigar, which it's turned out to be phenomenal for us because we do it the way I do it. We don't do it the way the original band did it out of respect for the original band. It's our interpretation of it. So in 2020, on November 12th, I can remember it because, and I'll tell you why, I was in the studio and we had been toying around with it. I love Silent Lucidity. I love Geoff Tate. I love his the MTV Awards with the Symphony. Back, I think it was 92. It was just one moment I'll never forget at an award show or, a song on television, if you will. So there was already that. And I just love Silent Lucidity. And with my voice being different and low and, still very raw at that point, we laid down the track. And the next day, my grandmother on November 13th died at 106 years old. And while I was singing it on November 12th and creating it, I couldn't help but think about all the people that we've lost in life and how they're looking down on us and watching over us. And you don't hear them. You don't, it's just silent comfort knowing that your loved ones are looking down on you from heaven. So that's when we first cut the track. And then, like many others, we put them in a Dropbox, and we'd have so many songs. We put out "And So It Begins" last year, and got out a lot of the music we had written, even the song "Burn Together" that I did with Geoff Tate. Besides the EP "Work Hard, Rock Hard," and we had kept Silent Lucidity still tucked away. And while we were finishing the first album, we're like, Geoff and I did Burn together. We toured together. He's been such a mentor to me. Him and his wife, Susan, have been very gracious to me, very supportive, and, wishing me nothing but the best in everything I do. They're just great human beings. And let's call who better than Geoff Tate to help send the message and bring this version of Silent Lucidity into the next century, because the other one was 90, 92, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Chris DeGarmo wrote one of the most beautiful songs ever, and I respect the hell out of that. And Geoff and Susan, we gave them what we were thinking about, our template, and I had re-sang a lot of it, Phil X and I, and they loved it, and they said, yeah, Geoff's on board. And I told Geoff when he got into town, and even before that, it was a one-day thing for the video and for his recording, and because he's got a very busy schedule. But I told him, I go, I think this song can really help people with suicide. It's such a big issue in the world,
Right.
all over the world. And I think it can resonate with others and remind people that even if they lose a loved one to suicide or any form of death, they're looking down on us. And, they're going to help us get through the rest of our life as our angels. But we also don't want to lose them prematurely to things such as suicide. And they love the suicide idea. I said, we need to film this raw, just us in the studio, um, conveying our emotion, and then give the facts, the most current, up to date facts on what suicide is that people may not know. And that's how it all came together. And it's crazy the response we're getting. I mean, it literally has only been out maybe 2 weeks at the most. And people are gravitating towards it, sharing it all over the world. And I can't wait to play it live. And it's a beautiful song. And I thank Chris DeGarmo for writing it and making it one of the best songs I've ever heard in the world. And I just wanted to do my interpretation. And if people like it, it's amazing. If we can help save lives, that's amazing. And this is our presentation of it. Kurt Deimer and Geoff Tate.
Yeah, definitely turned out very cool. Definitely. And like you're saying, you got the classical elements in here, definitely right from the get-go. That sets the stage for that as it starts out, which I thought sounded amazing for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, and Chris Lord-Alge he's my producer and my mixer, but he's also a keyboardist, and he dissected and put that thing together every morning for like 3 weeks before he'd go into Mix LA, and he just did a phenomenal job, making it our piece in the music, because you don't ever want to copy or cover another artist's stuff the way they did it. It's just not the way I would do it.
Right.
And I think Chris did a masterful job on those keyboards, and I love that you dig that.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely the way to go to put your spin on whatever the previous artist song, and not copy it, but give it that flavor and that taste of the original. But yeah, you got to definitely put your own spin on it, your own take on it. So I was also reading here from some of your history here. You've done direct support for a lot of other big name artists, from Yngwie Malmsteen to Tesla to Drowning Pool. So I have to ask you, because people love to hear the stories from the road, right? I don't know if you remember any of these experiences from any of these folks, maybe some good ones, maybe some not so good ones, some shows that went off here.
Well, Tesla, they're amazing. All the members, their crew, we were so excited every time we play together, and we ended up doing a lot of shows together for about a year and a half, 2 years. And they've been very gracious and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Instrumental in our growth this quickly. And really just being able to hang out with Jeff Keith on the road and listen to his crazy ass, and just the kindness of Frank and Dave and Brian and Steve, the drummer, he's crazy.
Yeah, we had Steve on a couple months ago, and he's just a great guy,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing, just great people. So major thanks to Tesla. Yngwie, met him the last night of the tour. Didn't really talk much. It was a challenging run, one we wanted to do early on, because they say, why is a band that sings going out with Yngwie? And I'm like, because it's a challenge. And, even if one person likes us from the crowd, that's one more new fan. You build it one fan at a time. You build any business one case at a time. That's just how you do it. You have to work hard. Drowning Pool, that was wild. We played a little earlier than that. So it was smaller clubs. But Buck Cherry, we've toured a lot with. We've had great shows with Buck Cherry. And Steel Panther, we went with them up to with Buck Cherry in Canada. And a story from that tour is the last Buck Cherry and us, Josh and I, we did a couple shows, after the Steel Panther run in Canada was done up in Minnesota, I believe it was that was the last show. But while we were in Canada, I was talking to their tour manager and my tour manager. Josh and I pretty much keep to ourselves, or I try to find a bar and a place where I can smoke and just chill. And we were all sitting there, and I had this song, and I'd really love to do a collab with Josh. Do you think he'd ever be interested? I said, yeah. And his tour manager said, yeah, maybe if you go play tennis with him and stuff, you might be able to talk him into it because he loves to play tennis and, has his routine, as do anybody. And that's how that came about. And now, a month after that tour, he came in. We shot the music video. We cut the vocals. He rewrote the lyrics to the original song I had called "He Was Good to Me." It turned into "In Deep." Last November, it went out to radio, and it was in the mainstream rock top 50 for 5 months and 11 days. So that's pretty huge, and that came all from us being on that tour together. And "In Deep" has helped launch us. It's been the most played song on radio for several weeks in several cities, one being Orlando. So that's a really good story. And then probably the funniest guy, most unpredictable, just my crazy buddy Sebastian Bach. We had fun touring across Canada together. Lots of good steak dinners and red wine, and
he's got a reputation for being quite the wild man, for sure, right?
Yeah, he's never done anything to me. We're good friends, and yeah, it's funny to follow him and the stuff he gets into, but he's just Sebastian. He's Baz, man. He's one of a kind.
Yep. That's what everybody definitely says about that. So let's switch gears here a little bit. So you had some other ventures going on that you went through also in your career. You had multiple startup companies, one of which was an oil brand called Starfire. And and back in the day, you secured a visual deal here for some brand signage in the movie Trading Paint, and that turned into a cameo role actually for you with John Travolta and Shania Twain. Can you tell us about that? That had to be kind of amazing, spinning your head there from one thing to another, right?
Yeah, I'd spent like 19 years building my company like crazy, working 18 hours a day. I literally started it above my garage with a dry erase board, a landline, and a computer. And I had built the company, and as we continued to grow all over the world, we started getting calls from people that place product placements in movies. So Trading Paint being one of them, they wanted to put Starfire in it, have me sponsor the race team, get coverage for our brand. I said, well, the agent at the time that was doing this for me, I said, well, because I'd already done, like I was in the first Sonic movie, you'll see our truck and they're in that bar fight scene where everybody's in slow-mo. But I said, yeah, but I want to do a cameo. If I'm going to do it, I want to go see what it's like to be on a movie set and do a cameo at the end. So I go down there, and we're getting ready to shoot the last scene where I would have presented the check, but they're like, we need a track announcer to interview Toby Sebastian, who plays John Travolta's son after he wins the big race. And I had on my little Starfire shirt, my sport coat, shit. Like I was big into sport coats then. I don't know why. But they said, they gave me a chance and said, can you do this? Can you learn these lines? I never acted. I never trained or any of that. I just was fascinated by it. And next thing you know, I'm shooting a scene, planning it with John Travolta, Shania Twain, Michael Madsen, God rest his soul, Toby Sebastian, and I'm in a movie. And I'm just like, what just happened?
Right.
They have me joining SAG-AFTRA. I'm in the union, actors.
Right. You have to join, right? Yeah.
I had to join. Yeah. I had to
get your card.
I got paid the minimum. I'm like, in the minimum, I ended up donating to this little girl's family who died from chewing on her hair and got her stomach lining got infected. And I said, I didn't expect to get this money, so I went on their GoFundMe. They were over in England, and I paid for her funeral. with that money from trading paint. And next thing you know, I'm getting a call about Halloween, the Halloween sequel to the original.
Right, the remake, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, all right. Well, we'll give you the role where you're killed by Michael Myers. You're one of Michael's kills. And I end up getting the Teller scene in there with a line. And again, I'm a member of SAG now, and that movie blew up all over the world and was
Right.
the first of the last three. And I think of the last three, it was the best of the last three. So now I'm on the short list of the real, Michael Meyer from the real franchise hit list, of people who've been killed, which is
Right.
really cool. And then that just led into me wanting to go more into acting. I kept honing my craft and created my own horror franchise, Hellbilly Hollow, which is coming out this fall. Then got offered the role as the Grog and Scared to Death, and that's out on VOD here May 5th, and it's already been in theaters with Lynn Shay and Bill Moseley. I play the next big killer like Michael Myers. And Jason from Friday the 13th. I'm the masked killer called The Rancher in a new franchise that Andy Gould's doing, who did Devil's Rejects and whatnot. So I'm the new masked killer called The Rancher, and I kill all of the degenerate people in society. And more to come. Relapse, a drama I'm in, and yeah, that's how it all started. So you did your homework. It's all because I went down to do that cameo, and now I'm in all these movies, and now my music. I wouldn't even have got back into music. That night changed my life to what it is today.
Yeah, it definitely seems like. And you're a busy guy, man, with all that. So I was going to ask you what next is on the horizon, but you kind of really already answered that. What's going on? Any other show dates or any other stuff you want to talk about, or any other events going on?
Yeah, we've got the VOD, video on demand and whatnot, for Scared to Death on May 5th. A Grog is Born, my sophomore album, is a whole new experience for a Kurt Deimer fan, because now I sing on everything, where I had to train myself for a few years, not being in the business for so long. And now I'm ranging. It's a whole different vibe, but it's still in the Kurt Deimer vein. And the second album, people are telling me all over the industry and in radio that it's a whole new level, and it's going to just blow up. And so I'm really excited about that. And I see it on your screen here, I get to honor my mom and my dad and just be the Grog. I was sitting thinking one night, A Grog is Born in the movie Scared to Death. A Star is Born was a cool album that Barbara Streisand put out. Get that
Definitely.
little 70s motif. There's a picture of me, and my mom had just passed in 24, and going through I'm the last remaining surviving member of my family. I had a family of four, and my sister, mom, and dad have all passed. And I'm going through the whole family thing, and I find all these pictures, and there's one from Sears or J.C. Penney when I was born. I go, so I'll show me in different stages with the Grog's tickler. They call this the tickler. This will be a Halloween costume too for the Grog.
There you go.
But I said we're just gonna show the Grog through the years, and the journey I've been on in music. I just thought it was like so apropos to just call it A Grog is Born, tie it to Scared to Death, and then this new music, top to bottom, it just kicks ass. So
Yeah, definitely very cool. Well, you got so much stuff going on. So good to talk with you and get some time with you. Thank you very much for stopping by and chatting with us today, Kurt.
oh yeah, man, anytime. I mean, we can't grow without folks like yourself promoting us. And to answer your other question, I'd be remiss if I didn't. We are going to be on tour soon. We're planning shows right now. I'm going to be shooting another movie. Hellbilly Hollow's coming out in the fall. And if everybody just goes to Kurt Deimer DEIMER.com, sign up for our mailing list, and you can click on all my socials, follow us, spread the word, and check out our video Silent Lucidity on YouTube.
Definitely. All right, very cool. All right, so that wraps up this episode of Talking About Rock. And to our audience out there, we hope you're doing your part by keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are. Kurt, again, man, thank you.
Peace and love. Yep, peace and love, everybody. Thank you so much.